Hello and welcome to level 76 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the gaming podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. I am Jeremy, here with my two compadres. Of course, I have David.
What up?
And I have Corey.
Bonjour, players.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Buongiorno.
So before I said that, and this is gonna sound bad, maybe we should just cut this, but like the one time I did like a little like Cockney accent and maybe like a Southern accent the one time, and I was gonna say like hola, but I'm like, oh, is that in bad? That's in bad taste, right?
Is it? I'm not sure what that reference is.
Well, hola is it just the Hawaiian way?
Oh.
Right? No, that's just Spanish.
Yeah, that's Spanish.
Do cut that.
Definitely
that.
won't.
Oh my god. What's
a clip.
What's the Hawaiian?
Mahalo or something.
There's mahalo, there's aloha.
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 I was going to say aloha, but I wasn't because in my head I was thinking hola, but I was like, oh, I can't do that's. Shouts out to Hawaii. We're an American podcast. Hopefully everything's going. That's just bad. Just cut that, dude.
No, it's all bad. It's all bad.
We'll leave it, but we can, yes, offer our sincere thoughts with the people of Maui as they deal with the crazy wildfire that happened.
Don't sell.
Yeah. But yes, that would be aloha. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, chickens, ducks, and hens, we want to say hi or aloha to you and welcoming you on this podcast.
In bad taste. It's in bad taste.
Well, no, because I've pivoted it to just making fun of you, so it's okay now. We welcome you in on this pod. This is the conversation pod where we just talk about games, plain and simple.
Yes.
So, fellas, how's your evening going so far?
Going pretty well.
Cool.
Good. Yeah. I was going to save this for final thoughts, but I'll pivot my final thoughts. I took my son to his first movie ever.
Was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
It was.
And
it was like, that was my first movie ever, the 89 version, when I saw it in like the cheap theater when I was like 2 or 3, apparently. That's what my mom told me. I don't remember. And he's not going to remember this. He's turning 3 in a couple months, but it just sounded like a good time. It was, I saw Turtles. He could see Turtles. He sat through it for the most part. A little bit in the middle, he was getting a little antsy. Like, I want to move. I can't be sitting down. Mm-hmm. We walked to the side for a minute. It was a very empty theater. It's been out for like 3 or 4 weeks at this point. Right. So sat back down, finished it up. Pretty good movie. I liked it. He seemed to like it. So cool experience as a father doing that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Zayden's first was Sonic.
Look at that. Video game theme. I like it.
Right?
Nice. I remember when I was younger and I took my youngest cousin, to see a movie. And I took him to go see The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard. Do not take a child to see that movie. That was a really dumb idea.
I feel like I'm pulling a David. I've never heard of that movie.
Either have I.
Yeah, it's a classic comedy that stars Jeremy Piven. I think David Koechner's in it. He's basically like I think if I remember, Ed Helms is also in it, and he's a traveling car salesman. There's a lot of crass humor. You think about kind of like the Will Ferrell-ish, Judd Apatow type of movies at the time. That's kind of the theme it followed. So,
you said this was your cousin?
I took my youngest cousin to see it.
How old was he or she?
I don't know if they were knocking double digits yet.
Why?
Because I wanted to go see it, and I had him, so I'm like, let's go see this movie. He was antsy, right? He didn't really get a lot of the humor, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay.
All right, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for our movie experiences. We gave you a surprise movie experience segment, but let's talk about the games we're playing then. I can go first.
Sure.
It'll be really quick because I haven't played any.
Awesome.
What?
Really? Yeah, I just haven't played
2
any.
weeks.
If I'm going to be very accurate and literal, I have been playing Eat Venture, but I think no one wants to hear about that. So I will say that I have not played any games.
Thank you, because you're right.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds pretty adventurous.
I don't even want to talk about it, and I'm the one playing it. So, that's what I've been playing. So, David, what have you been playing?
David, save us.
I have been playing a new game.
Oh,
Okay.
I
All right.
always love a new
is-
David game.
It's called Gris,
Gameplay.
I believe.
Oh,
Great.
Have you played
wow, really?
Have you played it?
No, but you could have given me 500 games to guess what game you were playing. It would not have been Gris.
It's a very beautiful game. It's a very simple game. I haven't beat it yet. I'm only like halfway through. It's like a 3-hour game. So apparently, because I looked it up. But it's a very simple, beautiful game. It's just you walk in either left and right, and you're jumping and you're finding these little orbs. That's
Hey,
it.
You're a surprising young man. Like there are just
Thanks.
you play the you play these.
He's a wild
these-
card. We've established this before. He's the
Like-
wild card of the bunch.
And he's a wild card because he's so like into his genre that he likes, right? Like online multiplayer. That is 95% of what.
Yeah,
he
I did play those a lot too.
And then the other 4% are music games. And then he hits us with a Gris or an Omno or like that guitar, that music one that you just mentioned last week.
The Artful
Yeah,
Escape.
Artful Escape. Like what? How did you find this one?
I think when I opened Steam one day, it said it was on sale for like $2, and I really liked the picture that it showed. I was like, sure, I'll buy
The
that.
picture with like the big like structure of like a woman with like the
Yeah.
watercolor.
Yeah,
Beautiful image.
Yeah.
I understand.
I was like, $2, it's worth it. I'll look it up, and it's good. That's what I've been playing. What about you, Corey?
I like to hear that. All right, so I haven't bought another game. I'm sticking to my vows at this point. And I do have some updates. I put another 5-6 hours into Final Fantasy 16 the first week. So like we do this podcast every 2 weeks, this conversational one, and on the PvP we don't talk about what we're playing. So we really go 2 weeks without talking about the games we're playing. So that first week I played a lot of Final Fantasy 16. I don't want to spoil anything, but you get more powers. So I got my third set of powers. There was a big story happening that did happen. So I'm getting into the weeds a little bit. I'm kind of strange. I like seeing how far I am into games. Like, I don't know if you two are like that at all, but I'll tell you how far I am into Final Fantasy 16, and I'll click it, and I hope that I won't spoil myself. Unfortunately, I did spoil myself a little bit. I saw, hey, this character just did this. I'm like, shoot. But then I looked at an IGN walkthrough. I'm on mission 28 of 64.
Dang.
So, about a little over a third of the way through.
Okay.
About 15, 16 hours in. It's still going to be a little bit. For me. But
that's a lengthy game.
It is. This other game's a lengthy game. The second game I was playing in the second week has been The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I have not forgotten it. It's been out for 3-4 months. I've been playing it, sporadically, 5 hours at a time, and then I would take a week off or a couple weeks off. But I got a lot of progress in this last week. I had told you guys, I think my last update was I'm still just going around the world, haven't done a thing. I beat 3 dungeons. So that is
any water ones?
Yes, that was the third dungeon I beat. I beat the water, and actually, the water one in this one was extremely easy.
Was it?
Like it was so easy, I could not.
That's
believe
a change
it.
of pace.
I beat the fire dungeon, I beat the water dungeon, and I beat the sky dungeon, maybe, or air dungeon, or wind dungeon. I think that's what it was. So after each dungeon, you get a power, which is pretty useful in the world and stuff. So that's cool. I can just continue to say the things I've already said about it. I love the creativity in finding out, how to defeat a mission or how to get an objective. I'll give you 2 examples that I really love. In the fire dungeon, it has to do with mine carts on rails, and you're flipping the rails and trying to get them to line up to places that you have to go. There was a mine cart on a rail, and the rail was broken, right? So I'm like, all right, let me use my ingenuity right here. So I took a fan and put it on the back because that will propel it forward, right? And I took 2 rockets and put them on each side, and I'm like, that'll really propel me forward. And then I put a rocket at the front going straight up because I needed to get enough air to be able to kind of like keep it afloat to land on the other side of the rail. I mean, it's the perfect plan, right? And I'm assuming that's what the game wanted me to do. So I jump in the minecart and I'm like, all right, time to do this. To start these like devices, you have to like swing your sword or, you know, shoot an arrow at. So I swing my sword and the whole thing just like blows up. Like it just skyrockets in the air and does a huge explosion. It like took me so much by surprise. You know, I thought I was going to go on this rail and kind of like float over, but I just got shot up like 200 feet in the air. And I floated to the other side. It was wonderful. I'm like, got my little paraglider. I'm like, this was great. This was great. Not the way I was supposed to do it, but it was great. So
Task failed successfully.
Yes, and then the water dungeon. So the water dungeon, super easy, but there was one puzzle that I did not do the right way, and I loved it. I don't know. I'm just loving this. There was a puzzle where there's a spinning room that's like maybe 30 feet into the air, and it's spinning so fast. You can't see it. It has a little opening where there's some sludge, and you got to get the sludge off so you can open up a room to kind of like finish this dungeon. So I think what you're supposed to do, there's big bubbles in this, and you're supposed to take these big pillars and stuff and kind of angle them so the bubbles bounce off and it'll hit that room. I don't know. Anyways, I stacked up a bunch of pillars. I jumped on top. I was parallel with the room, took out my arrow, put a splash fruit on the end of the arrow. So that's like, that puts water on the arrow. And I aimed and I timed it. You know, I did it in my head. One. Shot it, hit it, opened the door. 100% not the way you're supposed to do it. But that feels so much better than doing it sometimes the right way. You're like, I'm a genius. So, lots to love about Tears of the Kingdom. That boss was okay. The water dungeon, that was my least favorite boss out of the three. The fire dungeon had a cool gimmick. The wind dungeon was awesome. The boss wasn't too hard, but I'm going to spoil this one because it's so cool, and you guys aren't playing it anyways right now. So the wind dungeon has to do with wind. The whole ground is just shooting up huge gusts of wind the entire time. So if you take your paraglider, you're going to float to the max size that you can go. There's a gigantic sky dragon, and he's going around kind of like, if you're at the top, he's going on below you. And his body is made of crystals in some point. So you got to get above him, and then you got to dive bomb him where the crystals are and kind of shoot right through his body onto the other side. And you do that 3 or 4 times. Really, really cool battle. Not too hard, but it was just fun to use that mechanic. And all 3 dungeons have been very mechanic heavy in terms of like, you got this new power, now let's use it. So I don't know how far I am in that, but I have one more main dungeon, and then I gotta get the Master Sword, and then I gotta fight Ganon, I think. So haven't beat any of them yet. Diablo's still on the back burner, but I am making my way, and it has been a lot of fun. So
good.
Very nice.
That's a lot, yeah.
I know I had said before that Tears of the Kingdom would be a game that I know I'm going to get. I forgot about it until you just talked about it there. But what I will say is there's rumors of the next Switch coming out Q3 next year, maybe?
Yeah, I think you played your cards right, man.
Yeah, I think that's where I grab it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're finally going to get it in 1080p if Nintendo.
Oh, it's like 2007 all over again.
Right. So that's what I've been playing, gentlemen. Obviously, I've talked about I want to beat these games before I buy anything else, which is hard because Baldur's Gate is calling my name. Starfield is coming out so soon, and I'm very pumped for that. But I do want to beat these games. But what if I don't beat these games? Like, is that okay? Because like, you don't have to beat your games to feel like you've earned your money's worth or got a good experience, right? Or am I just like talking myself into it? Because I know, Jeremy, you talked a lot about I have a backlog. I got to go back to this.
Gives me an immense amount of anxiety. Yes.
Right. Like I got to go back to BioShock Infinite. Like, isn't it just okay that you play 20 minutes of it and you're like, okay, the game's okay, but I just don't feel like going into it. David, I don't know if you have those issues. You seem okay just like dropping games. I'm looking for that Resident Evil 4 update, that Dead Space update. Not calling you out, just saying.
Yeah, no, I haven't played them since.
What's your guys' opinion on that?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's usually your money. Sometimes people get them as gifts and whatever. Like, as long as you put in enough time that you think you care about, whatever. Like, I already beat Resident Evil when it originally came out. I got the new one. I love the graphics. I love everything about it. I know the story. I don't have to play it again. Dead Space, I bought it. I played the first 2 chapters. I do plan on going back. When that is, who knows? But yeah, I don't think you have, because you don't finish a game to know it's bad. Why do you need to finish a game to know it's good?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Boom. Mind blown.
2 points to David.
Heck yeah.
Right. Yeah, like I said, this is the anxiety talking. I think you gotta, I don't know, man. You gotta
power through them.
You gotta. I mean, it depends, because I look at it as like the investment of time versus the investment of like a financial investment, right? You spend, and I'm not saying like this is literally you, but someone spends $400 or $250 worth of video games. You don't beat none of them. You don't get a full, firm conclusion or sense of accomplishment for any of them.
No, that is literally me.
Well, okay, but it could also be other people, right? So, I mean, it's, yeah, I think. But here's what I will say though. I don't think do you need to like 100% completion everything? Nah, that's absurd. Do you need to maybe reach the end of a game or complete everyone? I really think it just depends on the game. It's just some games. I talked about this with Inside, right? Like the experience or the gratification of that game is in the journey, not the destination. So you don't necessarily have to beat the game to understand what the game is and what it's saying, right? So for that, yeah, you may not have to beat it. It also happens that game is 3 hours, so why not beat it? But for something, I mean, I'm struggling with the same thing. Like you mentioned, Final Fantasy, bro. I went hard on that game for a while, and I checked the whole where am I at, and I'm not even near where you're at, and I'm
really?
like,
did you?
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, sweet baby Jesus, I got another. You told me I got another 30, 40 hours in this game, right? I think it's just a different expectation. That's why I've always said, and now even more so when I'm like most of the time when I'm looking at games that I want to play or beat or pay for, I am looking at what's the estimated time that it's going to take to beat this game, because like I need to know I got so much time and I've got so much gusto before I'm starting to fall out of whack with a game. So,
and I think that's like the crux of the question though, because like, say you looked at a game and it said, hey, it takes 70 hours to complete. I think what David was saying was like, it's okay if you just play that game 30 hours. Like, why do you have to play it the last 40? Like,
right.
If a game says 70 hours and another game says 5, like, you should just pick the better game, even if you know you're not going to complete the 70-hour game, because it still might give you a great experience. But I'm also on your side. I think it's game dependent. Yeah. I think I've talked about before. I really love Oblivion. I really love Skyrim. I beat neither of those games, but I count them as among some of my favorite games, and I do have full experiences with those games. I have no doubt in my mind that I've played those games, and I'm like, played Oblivion a ton, loved it.
Yeah, you don't need to beat those games to understand and experience what those games are about, like what their core is.
Yeah, I got enough time into them, and then like for my current games, I think Tears of the Kingdom could fall into that category, where eventually I'm just like, I'm done with this game. Maybe I put, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 hours into it, but I haven't beat it. But I feel like I've got a full experience.
Mm-hmm.
While in the other case, I might not feel that way about Final Fantasy 16 because so much of it is story dependent.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I buy this game if I'm not gonna play through the story? That's like its main purpose. So
yeah,
right.
It's kind of it's a double-edged sword in a sense. It's they're both. It's both good points and bad points on either side.
Because I also look at it like you mentioned before, you have that 70-hour game and that 5-hour game. You put 30 hours into the game for the 70-hour one. Do you need to put another 40 hours in? You know what I'm saying? The turn of it is that if I play a 5-hour game and I only put 2 into it, I've only got 3 hours to go. And if gratification for me is beating it and getting to the end, I only have potentially wasted those 2 hours.
Right.
Where with the 70-hour game, if I need the end to reach that gratification and I'm not capable of getting there, I've potentially wasted 30 hours.
That's a
You know
great
what I'm saying?
point. That is an excellent point.
Exactly.
It's a thing of where it's like, but then that puts me in the conundrum of where I have to look for very specific games, and a game that I may want to play doesn't fall into that. Me right here, I'm saying, hey, my perfect game is 10 to 20 hours. Well, guess what, buddy? Starfield don't fall into that. So what do I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a game that's 10 to 20. And I say this all the time, even though if you look at my habits, I almost never play games that fit into that time span. I'm playing City Skylines. I'm playing Civilization. These are notoriously hundreds of hours games,
infinite,
right?
Infinite.
Yeah,
there's
potentially
no
infinite.
Yeah, but they're also like on a relaxing, mind-numbing,
right?
Not much thinking kind of games.
Right.
You know, you can sit there. You essentially do the same exact thing for every match.
Right. Like with Civ, right? It's a potentially infinite number of hours I can put into that game, but I can play a run of Civ in maybe 8 to 10 hours, let's say, right? So that's kind of where that's a little bit different. You get the one more run thing kind of happening, right? But yeah, I mean, besides that, I don't know, it's hard. I have been trying to fix my mindset to not be so focused on beating games, because for me it's impossible. I do not have the time. I do not have the mental capacity. I do not have the just general ability to like say, hey, my aim this year is to beat 20 games. Number one, for what? Who cares if I beat 20 games? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think now it's more so that I want to try to play and experience as many different gaming experiences as I can in a year. And which one of those are like incredibly unique. So if I have two games that are similar, I'm going to pick one because that's the experience I want to have for that specific genre of game or something like that,
Yeah. Good example, September 6th is when Starfield comes out, right?
Yes.
And Baldur's Gate 3 comes out for PlayStation. Chances are I'll beat neither of those games, but I'm looking forward to both of them very much, but I already know Baldur's Gate's like a 70-80 hour CRPG, which I'm not even like I'm not into that genre, so it's going to take me even longer just to kind of get used to it. And Starfield looks incredibly deep with an incredible amount of things to do. So
yeah.
And I think I'm going to have to try to be okay with just I get 20, 30, 40 hours into them or less and being like, I had fun. I'm okay to move on.
Right. I also think, like, it sounds like of these sea of games you're going to be playing, you're going to potentially beat one. I mean, hang your hat on that. Say, I've had all these great experiences, and on this one, I was able to come away with, I beat it. I got 100% done with it, right? It's a good dopamine hit to finish a game. Like, I finished Inside. All right, I'm cool. Yeah. I'm awesome. I'm ready to go. It's just a 3-hour game. So what? You know what I'm saying? I beat it. I'm done with it. And, when I get done, when I potentially beat Final Fantasy 16, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to feel like, I freaking just lifted a boulder over my head or something. Like, I beat a 40-hour game. Me, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have you guys ever felt sad after beating a game?
Oh,
like it was over. Like you wanted more.
I feel completely empty.
That's how I felt with Omno. I was like, wait, what?
I'm glad you asked that. I don't know if this game fits 100%, but for some reason I thought about it the other day. Maybe it was yesterday and a little bit today, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I think it does kind of fit into this. I felt that way a little bit about Ghost of Tsushima. And because like the ending was so good and you had a choice at the end and it weighed on you, and the game, like, it wasn't a perfect game, but like it almost felt like it was perfect for me, and I hated to see it go. And I loved it so much. I'm thinking about it. I want to jump back into it. I want them to announce a sequel. I want to play it on PS5. I want to play the DLC I never played. But yeah, that was one where I was definitely like, it sucks that it's over because it was such a fun experience, such a good story, such a cool, beautiful world to be in. So yeah, 100% I felt that way about a ton of games. So yeah, good question.
For sure. Two games that stick out for me with that is Titanfall 2. Because Titanfall 2 is also a short game. It's 6 hours. So I felt that way with Titanfall 2. And the other one, why can't I think of it right now? It's one of my favorite ones. I can't think of it. Square Enix, Cop, Hong Kong. Is that ringing a bell?
Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs. There we go. And Sleeping Dogs is actually a pretty decent length game, but the way that game kind of traverses the story of the triads and his story and all these, he's a anti-hero in a lot of ways. I was like, oh man, it's over. Like, I want to be this character. I want to experience this world for more, you know? So that's why it's disappointing that, Corey, like you're saying, waiting on a Ghost of Tsushima 2. Fortunately, we will get one because it performed well enough. We will probably never get a Sleeping Dog sequel, unfortunately. But
Sorry,
I know. And it looks like Titanfall 3 ain't happening.
It's done. Yeah, no.
So
I think it'll happen.
Apex took over. Like they
It'll
announced
happen.
they're just done with
happen.
it.
It'll happen.
do you think that's going to be the game that follows Jedi or Survivor or whatever?
I didn't say that.
Huh.
It'll happen though.
I think that's the next game they do when they get done with Jedi, though.
I think Titanfall was probably a game that they loved to make.
Yeah.
And if they have the freedom to go back to it, they would in a heartbeat. And they made Apex, so they will have the freedom to go back to it eventually. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to perform better than the first two. Like,
yeah.
So many people love these.
Performed pretty well. They wouldn't have made a second one if the first one didn't perform well.
I don't think they performed that well, did they?
Why would they make a second one?
For the first one was and the second one, because they released it when they released it, didn't do.
I think maybe the first one performed decently, but maybe just wasn't reviewed as well.
Right. It was reviewed kind of like an average game. And then also we have to like
the second one
keep in perspective like what expectations are of games. Like Titanfall was pumped up super big. It was expected to be like a monolithic game, and it just turned out to be a very good game. You know what I'm saying?
It was trying to compete with like Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly.
With Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's actually people who left Call of Duty and made that game.
Yeah.
Expectations are just wild, you know,
right.
And we're getting off topic here a little bit, but I remember, Square Enix, they sold off like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex.
Mm-hmm.
They sold off the franchise that they used to own. And like one of the things I remember reading was like Tomb Raider was a disappointment when it had like 6 or 8 million sales.
Mm-hmm.
It was like disappointment.
Yeah. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, right?
It was that or like even Rise. I'm not sure which way it was.
Okay.
It was probably Shadow, but it was just like,
I remember Shadow being a disappointment. Like, it's a disappointment, and it's like it sold 6 million copies. Like 6 million.
I'd be ecstatic for 1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an expectation. So it's all for somebody. 6 million is the most they've ever sold. You know, but for another company, it's like, well, it just didn't meet expectations, which is wild.
Yeah, I think because I remember like PlayStation was like super ecstatic with Sucker Punch because Ghost of Tsushima sold like 8 million copies.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like they're pumped that this sold 8 million. Yeah. Square Enix is saying this is a disappointment and it sold 6. Like
it's crazy. It's crazy. And like I think Final Fantasy 16 has sold 3, which is still good, but it's like, and you really hated Tomb Raider for selling double that amount.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
On politics.
Yep. But you guys want to move on to my topic?
Yeah,
let's do it. I'm kind of excited.
Okay, so my question is, what is your like favorite or most prized video game merch that you have? I have 2. They're for different reasons. So one, this is one of the very first things I got.
You brought show and tell.
Is the Resident Evil 2 strategy guide. I got this with the game for Christmas. Like, look how good the condition is. This is originally, this is from 1998, and look how it has a little bend in the corner.
Crap.
That's it. All right. That's when my fanboying of Resident Evil started. Was back in '98 for Christmas and whatever. My other one is I don't have it on me. I think.
Boo.
But it is actually a helmet for a pilot in Titanfall 2 because I got the collector's edition.
Nice.
Sweet.
So you can wear it in everything. It has 2 little lasers if you put the batteries in it. And you can see through the ice place and like everything. It's a functional, not safety protected kind of helmet, but I love it.
They're so freaking cool, man. I need to hit up Respawn and say, hey, let me write a Titanfall movie for you guys. About just the pilot. The pilots are so freaking cool, dude.
Just be like, hey, look at these awards I have already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can sell this. You guys have Any,
I got two.
you
Okay,
got
let's
two?
hear 'em.
Okay,
I've got two. Neither of them I have on me at the moment.
that's okay.
My prize, my most prize, which I lost and then got back, was the strategy guide for Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Mm.
It's like probably like 500 pages.
Dang.
It gives you like a breakdown of basically, it gives you all the lore of the world. It gives you a breakdown and a step, a guide for like doing every single mission. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I had lost. We had got like some flooding that happened, and so the original version I had got damaged in that, so I
Got
had to
it.
toss it. But I found another little game store, and they had the Game of the Year edition of the strategy guide. So I went and swooped that. So I have that somewhere. But that's one. And then the other one, which I also don't have because it hasn't arrived yet, will be my Modern Icons statuette for Ghost of Tsushima. The one that they didn't launch, they didn't
3
tell me
years in the
about. Yeah,
running.
3 years after I ordered it. That will be the next one. Because we've talked before on other debates about gaming merchandise. I'm not a merchandise person.
Yep.
So I don't really get merchandise for games. Those are two things that I actually have that are like, and they're both from games that I absolutely love. So those would be it for me. I do have a little prototype guy because I got a special edition or something of Prototype when that game came out,
Mhm.
and that's still around somewhere. But I mean, that's whatever. I didn't really want that.
I think it's the coolest flex that you guys both have like these really cool strategy guides. And let me just say, strategy guides are so much better than looking on the internet through like walkthroughs. So much better having that book, opening it up, seeing it, the actual art, and
exact page,
a paragraph of do this, do. I had one for the Wind Waker back in the day, and I think that's part of the reason, honestly, why it became my favorite game of all time for like 20 years. Because I was able to use that strategy guide, and I never got stuck at a spot that was too hard because I would just look. And then I was able to get a lot of the hidden secrets and go to the secret areas. That was just amazing. So shout out to strategy guides. They should. I wish they did bring them back more heavily. So.
Because I was actually looking up the price on this one to see if it was worth anything. It's only $20, but like they still make them.
Do they?
Yeah, I was
very
surprised.
very rarely.
They're
very
just not
few,
popular.
Okay, yeah, that's disappointing. But still, I'm glad to see they do make them.
That's what Bethesda should do with Starfield, is a special edition print strategy guide for that game.
You'd have
that
would be
bonkers, bro.
The second it went live, you would have it pre-ordered.
I mean, bro, the freaking controller sold out like crazy. Why wouldn't strategy?
Did you end up getting it?
Nah.
Dang you.
I'll still try though.
It's a sick controller.
Yeah,
I have a second side question that I just thought of.
Okay.
What is a merch that you really wanted but never got, or like forgot to get it? Like mine definitely would be the Ellie with the guitar statue that came with The Last of Us 2 pre-order, but I forgot to pre-order it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If I can go real quick with mine,
it
would be a statuette from Modern Icons of Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. Because until I got it, I ain't got it. And I never got it. So until I get it, that's when I got it.
Touche.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I have a ton of merch, like a ton. Like I have a whole room dedicated just to merch. So I'm gonna try to fly through this. So back in the day when you bought Nintendo products, you could open up the case, take a code, put it into Nintendo.com, and you would get points. I don't know if either of you two did that.
No.
Okay, so depending on how many games you bought, how many points you got, you could redeem them at the end of the year for physical rewards. Like Nintendo would send you real things just for buying their games, which they don't do anymore. You know, a lot of times now it's like a discount or a wallpaper. But I got a Super Mario Brothers pin set, and it has all the different characters from the original Mario game, you know, in like 8-bit form. And they're in these like small boxes. And when you stack the boxes up, it creates a pixelated Mario. That's a really cool, unique one. I don't have it displayed. I haven't displayed it for a long time, but it's still cool to have.
That's really cool.
Another one I have that I really like. When Smash Bros. For the Wii U came out, so Smash Bros. 4, it came out on the 3DS first. I don't know if you guys remember that. It came out on the 3DS. I didn't want to wait for it, so I bought it on the 3DS, and then I bought it for the Wii U. When you bought both of the games and redeemed both their codes, you could then go to Nintendo, and they would send you the music, the soundtrack to the game.
Okay.
What?
So I have the soundtrack to Super Mario Brothers, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. You know, it's not. There's like 700 songs in there, so it's not that, but it's like 50 of the best, you know, most iconic songs in there. So
That's
that's cool
awesome.
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Spider-Man, one of my favorite superheroes, Spider-Man for the PS4 was amazing. I didn't know it'd be amazing. I had a feeling it would, but I don't really buy collector's edition, so I didn't buy that one. But my wife was able to find it later for me, and I'm looking at the statue. Don't tell her it's not that great of the statue, but the thought behind it was really cool. So, what else do I got? Then one more. I'll just do one more. I got a lot of stuff, but one more. The Sonic Mania Collector's Edition. I don't know if you saw what this one entails at all back when Sonic Mania was announced. So this one I did pre-order because I thought it looked amazing. It wasn't even a bad deal. Like Sonic Mania was like a $20 or $30 game, and the Collector's Edition was like $80 total. So in that, I got I think that's about a 10 or 11 or 12 inch statue of Sonic standing on a Sega Genesis, like an actual life-size replica of a Sega Genesis. And you can press the button and it will go, Sega. And he's standing there with his fist up. Real cool looking.
Dude, I want that so bad.
You can probably get it.
That's
I don't think
cool.
I don't think they've like matured in price that much. Like I think it's around the same price. But it comes with one of like the rings that Sonic collects. The coolest one, though, I mean, the statue's the coolest, but like another cool part, it comes with a Sega Genesis cartridge that says Sonic Mania on it.
Oh, nice.
Which is awesome. It looks so cool. So that's some of the collectibles I have. In terms of one I do not have, but I really want, there's probably a lot of collector's editions that, you know, I don't buy collector's editions for games. I just don't know if they're going to be great. You know, I don't want to buy Horizon or, you know, Ratchet and Clank and then realize like, that game was just okay. And now I have like this $250 statue of the game that's just okay. So, but looking back, there's probably quite a few collector's editions where I'm like, wish I would have had that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you if you have this one, David, and if you regret it if you don't. I think when you probably don't have this because it's Resident Evil 7. Do you remember their collector's edition?
No, I didn't get it.
It had a replica of the cabin, like a diorama, like a replica of the cabin. Looks so cool.
Dude, I completely forgot about that.
And like I'm not the biggest Resident Evil guy, so I'm not gonna buy the collector's edition. But that one was like, that was cool. Now you need to drink of water.
Yeah. That's a lot. You know what? But hey, you got stuff that you're passionate about, especially like you're talking about like the back in the day, like Nintendo codes and like them actually sending you physical things as like rewards for buying their games and supporting them is really cool. You know.
Yeah. Before I started doing that, they had a reward from a few years before me where. And you just had to make levels. It wasn't like you had to get like so much, but if you made a certain level, and I did for like the years I was buying a lot of Nintendo games, they actually gave out like an 8 or 9 inch statue with like all the Super Mario characters. Really cool little statue.
Wow.
And they just, if you got enough points, you were able to redeem it. So very sweet, very sweet.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know. Maybe I do collector's edition on. I mean, if I would have knew at the time how much I'd love Skyrim, I would have did collector's edition on that, but you know, we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah, they're just crapshoots, man.
Yeah, I will for sure on Elder Scrolls 6. That's a definite.
No doubt.
That's a guarantee. A Jeremy guarantee.
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
And I did do the Spider-Man 2 collector's edition. So
yeah,
I'm not missing out on that one.
And I mean, I guess it's not technically a collector's edition, but I'm kind of doing that with Starfield. I mean, getting the controller is just extra.
Right.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. So talking about, well, Nintendo publishes their games as well. Talking about publishers, talking about the good they've done. Let's talk a little bit about the bad, or maybe the worst. So I'm curious, just throwing this out there. What would you say? What do you guys feel is the worst AAA game publisher, not developer, but publisher? So we got to think the big ones. You know what I'm saying? Your Electronic Arts, your Activision Blizzards, your companies like that. What would you say is the worst? If you guys want a second, I can give you mine. It's not super sexy, but I have a reasoning for it.
Okay.
So I can take the lead on this one.
Okay.
All right. So the one I got is Ubisoft.
God, I was gonna say that.
You're gonna say that?
I was gonna say
on my
that.
short list. That was on my short list.
That was on your short list? Okay.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Here's what I can do. I can pivot and give you my number 2, or I can go in with Ubisoft and you guys can just add to it. Maybe this just becomes a Ubisoft is the worst thing, but I can pivot to my number 2 because number 2 on my list is THQ Nordic actually. But it's for a different reason. THQ, but I'll go with Ubisoft. I'll start with them. So Ubisoft, mostly because I feel like Ubisoft does the least with what they have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you think about like the IPs they have, like the Assassin's Creeds and all the Tom Clancy stuff that could be really cool, but they don't really do that much with, except try to make these like kind of like looter shooters essentially, right? You think of like Far Cry, different things like this. We've talked before about the Ubisoft formulas, right? Put a bunch of icons on a map, a tower that you got to use to reveal a map, and then you go, and then that's just the whole game, right? They could do so much more with what they have. They could do so much more to differentiate Watch Dogs from being, basically an almost type of GTA clone to some extent, right? Like it could be so much better. Obviously, the same with like Assassin's Creed. They've done a little bit of changing with it, but it could be so much better. And then I think about like the other IPs they had that they screwed the pooch with, right? Prince of Persia, you screwed it. You dropped the ball, you played yourself. That's an IP that has so much history, that is so renowned, and has been casted to the wayside, right? Another IP that I liked, that I felt like they just didn't know how to work it, was Brothers in Arms, right? Brothers in Arms it wasn't the most premium of World War II shooters, but it was up there as a viable option. It had a different, interesting game mechanic to it that you just didn't know what to do with, right? The Driver series, another one that they just didn't know what to do with, right? And they still have a couple of like strategy games like Anyo and I forgot what the other one was, but Anyo's like the big one. Like the last one they came out with was Anyo 1800, which is like really good game. So that's fine. They have some things they do well, but they have so many things that they don't do well that they need to like leverage and change up a little bit more. Change the formula for Far Cry a little bit. It's stale. It's been this ever since they did Far Cry 3, they've just done Far Cry 3 to 5 more times. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's like you got to change it up a little bit, right? Another game that they have that I think had so much promise, that was so interesting, but they did nothing with and they screwed it up, was oh man, I just forgot it. What is it? I have a list.
Cell.
It wasn't Splinter Cell, though they should be doing more with Splinter Cell. They messed that up. But I'm trying to think. It's the one where you have like the different, you have like the samurai and the Viking. Oh yeah, For Honor.
For Honor.
Yeah. For Honor is such a cool concept. It genuinely is. Mm-hmm. And they did nothing with. They didn't think like any deeper with that game beyond just the initial release and some of the game modes they had for that. They've been supporting it and doing drop releases of content, or drip releases of content, but it's just not been focused, man. And it's taken too long to get the stuff they have on it. So yeah, I think Ubisoft, because besides the fact that again their games are never like super polished or premium, they don't ever like have like these crazy like, oh hey, we're gonna break the game industry with this game or anything like that. But they have some interesting IPs and some interesting worlds that they do the least amount with, and it's really frustrating. And that's on top of all the other bad culture and company stuff that they do. So yeah, Ubisoft, I name them there. No one likes Ubisoft, so that's another ticket. No one likes them.
Because I was looking at a list, kind of. Oh yeah, go ahead. Okay, I was looking at a list. I don't know if it was like a full list, but Ubisoft is up there. I'm like, that's definitely one of them. None of us ever say good things about Ubisoft.
Right.
And like how you're saying, they just use the same formula all the time. It kind of reminds me of like Taco Bell. Obviously Taco Bell, it's all right. It's fast food. It's quick, whatever. But they just use the same 6 ingredients in everything. It's just shaped different.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Ubisoft does. They use the same formula and just make the characters look different.
Yep. 100%.
So it's and like you said, they have a lot of stuff they can work with and do stuff with, and they don't. At least other people are trying and sometimes failing.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil games, example for like Capcom, Resident Evils 1, 2, and 3 are very different from 4, 5, and 6, are different from 7 and 8. And then the side games that Resident Evil have is completely different from all of those,
Mm-hmm.
Same franchise, but different type of games.
Different type of game mechanics and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's most my reasoning.
I mean, let me just say, Jeremy, last few shows, you've had very boring topics. This has been a great topic. Good choice by you. Good pick. And you guys already kind of hit Ubisoft as much as you guys, all right?
Yeah.
You guys already hit Ubisoft as much as you possibly can. Like, I think the one point I would like to add is when I think of like AAA, I kind of go to like the game shows where it's E3 or the Game Awards, where you hear these big announcements. And especially E3, I used to watch every show. I haven't done E3 in a couple years, but I watch every show. Ubisoft is always by far the least exciting for me, where I'm just like, why did I watch that for an hour? Like, why did I watch that? None of this stuff interests me. It's rehash, the same thing. It's hard to tell Watch Dogs from the other open world games, between this game, they all just have a different coat of paint on them, and it's boring, and I can't do it. They're definitely my worst, by far.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Something we all agree on.
It's either I'm Assassin's Creed, so I'm in like third person parkour, got to run up towers and stuff to reveal maps, or I'm Watch Dogs, I'm third person open world, I might have to do something else to reveal a map. I've only played Watch Dogs 2, or I'm Far Cry, I'm first person, I got to run up a tower to reveal a map, and then I just get all the icons, and then I just do all the icons, and then that's it, and then that's a Ubisoft game.
And that's okay if they didn't do each of those games like 4 or 5 times. Assassin's Creed, it's been like 8 or 9 times. Far Cry, it's been 6. And then Watch Dogs, it's been 3 or maybe 4 if they had an offshoot game. But like, at first, those were all like novel, like, oh, this is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they did.
Right.
And then a couple of their other big ones, like For Honor, it's a live service game where it's going to be 10, 15 years of this game. The same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. That's just, if you're not into it, it's just not exciting.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's crazy because I think For Honor is an example of that, and Rainbow Six Siege is an example of games with, I think, objectively from a gameplay perspective, really good gameplay. Like the gunplay and the intensity of a Rainbow Six Siege match is one of the rare things out there, right? So like that's exceptional, but you can't really do anything else with it, right? You tried Extraction because you wanted to kind of get into that Left 4 Dead, Bad for Blood or Back for Blood or whatever type of space, and it just didn't get the traction. You know what I'm saying? And you've got to find some way to kind of like do something different, man. I mean, take For Honor, make it a single player experience that's a bit more linear. Like, do something different with these IPs and different things you're building, I mean,
That makes sense.
Dude, just do something, Good Lord. Where's a Rayman? Can I get a Rayman? Where's Rayman been at?
Those two were a lot of fun.
The most interesting thing that Ubisoft has did is when they collaborated with Nintendo and did Mario and Rabbids. That was like the most like, oh wow, this is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my son loved that game.
Yeah. Do something, man. Call of Juarez. You do a Red 4 Dead.
I don't mean
do anything.
What?
I know me and David are also supposed to have our pick here, but like Ubisoft's the answer, right?
Is it the universal answer?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I think it's just the answer. Like it's just the answer.
Well, who comes in number 2? I can give briefly why I did THQ Nordic. They just ain't got good games.
Oh, right.
That's pretty much it, right? They just don't have good games.
That's not the same THQ that released the Tony Hawk games, right?
No, that's owned by Activision now.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, they bought that IP. So original THQ sold off all their IPs. Nordic came and bought most of what THQ's remaining IPs were, right? And then they just rebranded as THQ Nordic.
Got it.
THQ just had a showcase. That's where that the Turtles game was just announced.
Yeah.
Oh, Ronin.
So
yeah,
so maybe.
I mean, I just saying
they're increasing. I would say EA has a strong pick for number 2, based on like their sports games and how formulaic and kind of boring they've been.
For sure.
Same game every year.
As a publisher, maybe something like 2K.
Yeah.
They were kind of like the first people to go $70 games.
Right.
You know, very, very microtransaction heavy, especially in like NBA.
Right. See, the issue is going to be with like, so EA for sure. The issue that you're going to have with like 2K is like those 2K games are like really microtransaction-y, and they don't innovate a lot, but they do more than EA does with their sports games. And then they're buoyed by Grand Theft Auto, right? Like that's what buoys. That's what keeps them up. So, you know.
But here's the thing. I wasn't gonna pick them, but I did think of Rockstar for a quick second. I did, and like it's not fair because the 2 games they released have been perfect 10s all across the board, but it's been 2 games in like 20 years.
Right.
And their main focus is selling shark cards for GTA 5.
Right.
They're just not that great. They make a great game. They make a great product, though. But as a developer as a whole, it's just like, what are you doing?
That's the thing, though. Their stuff hits, though. That's the issue. You're like, Rockstar don't miss.
I feel like they've fallen from where they were. Like, I remember back in the Xbox 360 days, we had like Bully, we had like the pink table tennis, we had the Warriors. Like they released other games other than Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead. They put out these like not as ambitious games that were also a lot of fun. So I don't know. I don't like them.
Yeah, you had mentioned Manhunt being one of their properties, right?
I did not, but yes, definitely that's up there. Yeah, so they released all these like other smaller games.
Yeah, that were interesting,
they don't do that
right?
Anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
That.
Those are the games
GTA
they make.
5.
It's Grand Theft Auto 5,
and
it's
GTA
Red Dead
5,
Redemption 2.
Then like 8 years later, it was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be another 5, 6, 7, 8 years after that, GTA 6.
Yeah. Yep. That's where all the money is. They didn't make no money off of Bullet. They didn't make any money off of Manhunt. They didn't make any money off of State of Emergency. But yeah, I mean, you look at like THQ, like they've got some IPs that obviously I like The Guild. They have The Guild. They got that. Desperados is pretty decent, but come on, man, freaking Biomutant. I played and beat that game. I bought that game. That game was a waste of money, man. Yeah. Well, it looks like Ubisoft takes the cake. So since Ubisoft takes the cake, we're done talking about games. I guess it's game time.
Game time.
For this game time, it's Legally Guessing. And who is bartending this round of Legally Guessing?
I'm throwing the shots out, guys.
Uh-oh. David is throwing the shots out. So, all right, Legally Guessing. We've got 20 questions and one guess to figure out a mystery game that David has in his mind. Whenever you're ready, David, you take it away.
I'm ready. Whoever wants to start, let's go. What do you guys got for me?
All right. Could the developer of this game been part of this topic technically that we just did?
The publisher? Yes.
Yeah. Publisher. Okay. So it's a AAA publisher. All right, good to know.
AAA publisher. Is this game? Did this game come out after 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this game rated M?
It's not showing, but I assume yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Is this game a PlayStation? Is this game a PlayStation platform exclusive?
No.
Okay.
Is this game part of the series?
Yes.
Okay. Is this game the
Are you
first?
keeping count of questions?
No.
Okay,
That was
I
5.
think. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is this
Not
game
first. Came out after 2010.
Is this game the first in its series?
Wait, didn't you just ask that?
No, you
I never gave an
asked.
answer.
Yeah, he never gave an answer.
Okay.
I have to say no.
Okay.
That was weird.
It's weird. That was
I feel like
weird.
maybe it's like a spin-off or something.
Yeah.
Is this game made by a Japanese developer?
Good question. Good question.
What was the exact question?
Made by a Japanese developer?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're getting a little less in my wheelhouse, but more in yours, I feel like, Corey.
All right. Yeah, we got Square Enix, Capcom, Nintendo still, From Software. There's a ton of them, but those are like the AAA ones for sure.
Right. We have to think that had a good impact in the sphere of Western gaming society. Right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna ask a very specific question, just taking a stab. Okay. Is this game a Dynasty Warriors game?
No.
Okay.
Is this game a Nintendo exclusive of some sort?
No.
It's third party.
Oh, it's got to be third party. It wouldn't be Xbox, not Japanese.
Is this game within the Final Fantasy series?
No.
Okay.
This guy's going very specific.
I am.
Is this game made by either Square Enix, From Software, or Capcom?
Yes.
Okay. It's got to be.
I believe that's 12 questions.
I mean, we got to be leaning towards Capcom.
We got to be leaning towards Capcom. Yeah.
That's his wheelhouse.
It's got to be Capcom. Yeah.
I mean,
do I do
narrow
another?
it down to Capcom to make sure. Yeah. We got to figure out if it's Capcom. We got to make sure.
Was this game published by Capcom?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's
Capcom
got a
game. And he said he didn't know if it's got. I mean, we got to think Resident Evil too, right? But
right.
that's like 2. That's 2 on the nose.
Right. But he also might be thinking that. He might be thinking these suckers would never think that I would pick a Resident Evil game.
Is this game part of the Resident Evil franchise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
See, I don't. Here's the thing. It just got harder. Actually, it actually just got harder.
Yeah, there's like 45 games.
Yeah. Between
right. 2010 and now.
Though. Yeah. And
is this part of the numbered Resident Evils? Village is a number. It's 8.
I know. Of the original main series numbers, no.
All right, so
what does that mean? Is it a numbered Resident Evil? That was the question, right? Is it part of the numbered Resident Evil?
And he's saying no. It's not.
It's not.
Here's the thing.
What could that mean then?
It's going to end up being something like Resident Evil 3.7, The Return of Frankenstein, or something like that. That's what this is going to end up being. Wasn't there
all-time play? Did this game come out after? When did the? We gotta narrow down the date a little bit here. I think that would help.
Yeah.
Do we just cut it in half?
And say, did this game come out like before or after
20, like 2017?
Yeah, maybe like 2015.
Well, no, that would only cut off like if it was.
That's like yes, 2017. Yeah.
Did this game come out after 2017?
No.
So it's between 2010 and 2017.
This is tough. This was a lot of trash RE.
This was hype. This was hype when they were just really getting them out there. I'm gonna ask this question.
What question are we on?
I believe you guys got 5 left.
5 left?
5 left. Okay.
Okay, what are we thinking here for a plan? I only know one.
We should try to find out who the protagonist is. Or
should we
not.
do?
If it's like if it's an offshoot game, that person won't even really have a name. I don't think. It's not one of the numbered one he said. So.
What if we did it by gender? Like, is the protagonist male or female? Would that give us any clarification, really, or no?
What if it's like mercenaries? That wouldn't really help me.
Right.
I don't know if it would help you.
No, it wouldn't. This is literally worse than if we hadn't asked any questions at all. As far as my knowledge.
Did this game have an online component?
Yes.
Okay, now which one has he talked about that had the online and stuff?
There's so many that have just stupid subtitles. Like, I know Revelations isn't it, but like they got so many stupid subtitles like that.
What about?
I'm sure this is the one that was on PlayStation 2.
It's going to be Resident Evil: The Awakening of Redemption. What was the one?
Yeah.
What was the one? There was one called Return to Raccoon City, right? That wouldn't be it, would it?
That was Operation Raccoon City.
Huh?
Oh, Operation. Right.
It was Operation Raccoon City.
That's called Operation.
Oh, okay. Operation Raccoon City.
Yeah, we call it Orc. Resident Evil Orc.
Okay. I mean, well, by how lackadaisical he corrected me there, I feel like that's not the one that's it. So we gotta
right.
We gotta figure it out. Okay. All right. What questions do we ask here to really pinpoint this?
I honestly don't know at this point. I feel like I don't know the title of the game.
Okay. It's was there any other Resident Evils that had like Raccoon City in the name of it? Do we know?
Probably.
Does this game have Raccoon City in the title of it?
No.
Let's see here. Is it I don't know any Resident Evil.
I don't know either. This is does this game take the majority of its setting in a city?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. Which one took? Is it which one did they base the desert movie off of?
I have no clue.
That one wasn't really based on anything.
Okay.
Interesting. Not in the city. Not in a city. Because I was thinking of that first online Resident Evil, but I'm pretty sure that was based in the city.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't have been the one that you just picked, right? What was the one that you just picked? Like a
No,
month ago?
The one I picked a month ago?
Yeah, didn't you pick like the one with, or you said it was like one of the worst games you ever played? Or your biggest gaming regret purchase?
Oh, I can't remember. That was
a
Resident.
Like the two mercenaries.
Oh yeah. But that
you traded it from
Yeah, but that's after 2017. I would think.
Is it?
Umbrella
right?
Corps.
That was PS4.
Yeah, Umbrella Corps. Yeah.
Okay.
And that kind of took place all over, like different, like kind of different maps.
Does this game star one of the main characters from one of the numbered games? I know it's a little convoluted.
Yes.
Convoluted. Okay, so it does star one of these characters from one of the numbered games.
Yeah, you got two
and
more.
It has an online component. It doesn't mean it's completely online,
right?
Or even that the majority of it's online. But we know it's not numbered. It's not a numbered game. It has some online.
It's not main numbered.
Stars.
Let's see here. What do we got here? What? We got.
It's not main numbered.
It's not main
What's
numbered.
Main numbered mean?
It's a side number. It's some kind of side number.
Here's like when he says that, it makes me think of 0. But
that's a main number.
Before. Okay. Okay. So it makes me. I'm just gonna keep saying things until because he's got all this Resident Evil knowledge that he wants to share. He can't hold back.
Yeah, I'm trying to help.
He can't hold back. Like
right.
It makes me think.
It's a 3.7 or a 4.5 or a 6.2. Right. It's one of these.
That though. No. Like it could be Code Veronica, but I don't think Code Veronica had any online, and I think that came out before 2010. That's like a main game. It's just not numbered.
Right.
It's just not numbered, right? That's a main game.
Well, let's see here. You said that it stars one of the people from the main numbered thing. So let's go through them. We got Rebecca, we got Leo, we got Helena.
Rebecca was in 0. Leon was in 2, 4, 6. Chris, man, I don't know what it would be. Would this be like it stars one of the main guys? It has an online component. I feel like man.
I mean, let's.
You have 2 questions left?
Yes.
Yeah. Should we just find out if it's a boy or a girl?
Is the protagonist male or female or identifies as one or the other?
So yes or no's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is the protagonist male?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes and no.
So it's got 2 protagonists. All right, so we're looking at I don't know. I can't think of what Resident Evil game had online that was like a story game.
I don't know. I don't even know. Look, you're talking to someone that called Leon Leo. I mean, I am not the best partner to have in this search.
Listen, the multiplayer is very minimal. You don't even have to play it. I never played the multiplayer on this game.
Let's see here.
All right, so we just got to think. We asked if it was part of a series, and you said yes, right?
If what?
I said yes, it's part of a series.
Part of a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like reluctant on it.
It's just part of Resident Evil.
I know it's part of Resident Evil, but you were a little bit reluctant on that question for some reason.
Because it's how you asked. And
all right.
Yeah.
Does this game take place on a boat?
Yes.
Resident Evil Revelations.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. There
So
we
I had
go,
to
man.
say it's not part of the main numbers because there's a Resident Evil Revelations 2.
There is.
That's fair. I'll agree with that. I had no clue it had online, so that really threw me off. I
didn't either until I
that
read
was
it.
It
originally came out on the
off.
PDS.
Right.
And then it's been ported.
I did not know it had online.
Has Jill Valentine and
the
Chris
PlayStation
Redfield as
4.
the main protagonists. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Is that one good?
It was not bad. I beat it.
I heard number 2 was even better. Revelations 2. That had Barry, right?
I think that was Claire.
And that guy's daughter.
Sherry.
I thought it had Barry and that guy's daughter. Sherry, yeah. I think it was Barry and Claire. And then with Barry, you were trying to protect Sherry.
Maybe. It's been so long.
But I don't know.
But yeah, you guys got it.
Corey got it. I had no idea.
It was so
what
funny
was going
when
on.
you said it like 5 minutes ago. I was like, please come back to that. Like, that is the answer. Don't think that's not the answer.
I thought that Revelations was way older than that for some reason.
Yeah, it came out January 26, 2012.
I appreciate you talking about the online and saying that it wasn't a big component. That's what put it over the top. You know? Because I was really thinking Mercenaries or one of those other opera. What was that first one that you liked that was online for like the PS2?
Oh,
was that?
I never played the online on that one either, but that's Outbreak. There's File 1 and File 2.
That was probably before 2010 though. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good pick, David. Good pick.
Thank you.
Great job. I was close to saying, is it as bad as Chrome Hounds?
No, I don't think anything besides the Animaniacs game.
And Freedom Fighters.
I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take Freedom Fighters.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's very hard for one-off games made 20 years ago. That's a very hard pick, you know?
Hey, it ain't supposed to be easy. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't. I'm coming. I've already got a good Legally Guessing game for next time, so
okay.
I'm coming for you guys.
In arm's reach.
Here you go. Okay. Well, then that brings us to final thoughts, where we each offer a final thought. It can be something related or unrelated to the podcast episode. So, who would like to give their final thought first?
I'll go.
Okay.
So 2 days ago, I went to a concert. It was for Tessa Violet, and it was really good. She put on a really good show. She did a lot of like costume stuff, and it was at the L Club again.
Nice.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show. I'm glad I finally got to see her in concert because I've been a fan of her for like 10 years now.
That venue holds up to like 250 people, I think, right? Something like that.
It looks small, yet holds quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nice. My final thought. I'm glad I finally had the chance.
Nice.
I'll go right now. So there was a board game I was interested in, and my wife surprised me with it a couple days ago. Came in Amazon. I was very excited. It's called Mr. President: The American Presidency 2001 to 2020. Now, I just want to talk about this game for a quick second. I have not played it yet, but I'm very excited to play it. It is a solo game, which I've been getting in a little bit more into solo gaming. You know, hard to get the whole group together to play, so I'll play by myself. The game comes with 4 game boards.
10
rule books.
Dang.
600 cardboard pieces.
Dang.
And on the back of the box, the time frame, like it tells you the length. The length of playing this game one time is 8 to 12 hours.
Holy crap.
It tries to simulate the presidency as best you can. I have a little bit of it set up on my board. There's a whole world map on the right side, and you've got to deal with wars, terrorism. On the other side, you've got to pass laws. You got to deal with the economy. You got to hire cabinet members. You got to pick your cabinet members, your vice presidents. You got to deal with scandals. It sounds so cool, and I'm so excited to play it. And I cannot wait to like jump into it. And I think I'll mention it when I do play it on a podcast somewhere on this podcast, because I don't know, it seems really cool. It seems really like something I've wanted for a while.
Yes, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, we'll see. It's 12 hours. I've never played a game for 12 hours, so it will not be done in one sitting. It will be left up.
Oh God, no.
Play it over.
God, no.
I will play it over a week or so.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, my final thought. I got a bone to pick, and that's what Master built.
Oh no!
Right. So for Christmas, a couple years back, I got a Master built 560 gravity charcoal grill. Okay. This thing it's cool. It's great. It's super dope to grill on. Make some great stuff on it. It's really nice to use, except it's not. Okay. I don't know who designed this thing, but I get grease fires happening all the time.
Is that when you sideload the charcoal or whatever?
Yeah. So when you sideload the charcoal, I get grease fires all the time, right? They give you cast iron grates. Cast iron grates are awesome, unless you're someone who doesn't like cooking with cast iron. And you want to use the other ones that are non-stick, and it makes it easier. Hey, make a non-stick equivalent. Why am I just stuck with cast iron grates? I got to order a replacement cast iron grate. It takes a month to get here. I don't get any correspondence for a month, buddy. And then it finally gets here. I finally get it back. A little piece of it is broke, but it still mostly works. I mean, what's going on here? And then you know what happens? Guess what happens? I'm cooking ribs. It's all nice and great. It's cool. It's going cool. It's awesome. It's great. I decided the following day, you know what? I want to throw some burgers on. I want to throw some hot dogs on, right? Except that the grease doesn't drain properly. So then the fire gets going, flame catches on the top of the heat dispenser, grease fire. Then I've got another grease fire. Now, grease fire almost took out my pulled pork that I made for our Thoughts of Players barbecue. It almost just took it out. It's almost taken out several things. It did it. Do better designs, okay? Why does your power plug look like it's designed for a phone modem? Make it sturdy. It's an outside device. I've got so much more to say, but I'm gonna save it for another time. As a matter of fact, this may be a recurring series of complaints from my final thoughts. It's just me complaining about this grill because it's ridiculous.
Is gold.
This thing is $5 bills. It's $5 right now. Inexcusable. Get your bleep together. One cast iron grate costs me $35, including shipping.
Dang.
You're making me work with cast iron. I'd rather work with something else. Polyurethane or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's my final thought. Leads us to the end of level 76 of the Thoughts of Players podcast. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast service. We are on the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts and the Google Podcasts and the iHeartRadios and the Amazon. We are also on the socials. So catch us there at Facebook, facebook.com/Thoughts of Players. That's all one word. You can find us on Instagram at Thoughts.Players, on TikTok at Thoughts Players, and on YouTube at Thoughts Players, where we upload video versions of the podcast. You can also catch us over on Twitter, Thoughts Player 2, where we have a poll up about some exciting character backgrounds for Starfield coming up here. Which one do you think we should play with? Also, we got a Patreon. If you're digging your boys and you want to support, make sure you check us out there. We got some extras, $2, $5, $7 tiers, give you some extra goodies. Inside review, exclusive Patreon review there. Check that out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to add, or are we good to go?
Peace.
All right.
See you later.
See ya. We'll catch you on the next level.